The night the blizzard swallowed the entire town, no one should have been outside, not even the desperate. Yet a widow with 2 shivering children stood on the frozen roadside, their battered car dead, their breath turning to frost. Snow whipped across the empty highway like ghostly hands pulling them into darkness. Cars passed without slowing. Hope faded with every icy gust. And then, a black SUV rolled to a stop, its tinted window sliding down to reveal the one man nobody ever expected would help a stranger. The town's most feared Mafia boss leaned forward, eyes sharp as winter steel, and said the last thing she imagined hearing that night. The wind howled across the mountains as Amelia Carter pressed her hands to her son's cheeks, trying to warm him. His skin felt like ice. Her daughter Emily clung to her coat, crying softly from the cold. Their old sedan had broken down an hour earlier, the engine giving one final groan before dying completely. There was no signal. No passing gas station. Just a long stretch of road buried in white. Amelia was a widow of 2 years, and winter always hit her hardest. Her husband, Daniel, had died on a night just like this, unexpected, cruel, freezing. She had spent every day since trying to keep her children safe, even when she felt like she was crumbling inside. Tonight was the worst of all. She could barely feel her fingers. She could barely see through the storm. But she refused to let her kids freeze. Not again. Not ever. The blizzard grew thicker, the sky darker. She tucked her children inside the car, though the interior was almost as cold as the outside air. Their breaths fogged up the windows while she rubbed her hands together, whispering prayers under her breath. If no one stopped soon, the cold would take them. She knew it. But she also knew the world wasn't kind enough to save a widow standing alone in the snow. Then, headlights, bright, harsh, cutting through the storm like 2 angry eyes, the vehicle slowed. The engine purred deep, powerful. Too expensive for this road. Too dangerous for this hour. Amelia stepped back instinctively, shielding her children behind her. The SUV stopped only inches from her car. The window rolled down halfway, revealing a man with dark hair, a trimmed beard, and eyes filled with sharp calculation. Everyone in the region knew his name, Marcus Varelli. The cold-blooded Mafia boss. The man who controlled half the city from behind silent deals and whispered rumors. Amelia froze. Marcus studied her for a moment, his expression unreadable. Then his gaze shifted past her, to the trembling silhouettes of her children curled together in the backseat. Something in his face softened. Barely. A flicker, like a flame that almost died but refused to go out. "You're going to freeze out here," he said, voice low, steady despite the storm. Amelia swallowed, scared to speak. I just need a tow truck. We'll wait here." "You won't survive 10 more minutes," he replied. She had no argument. She had no choice. Marcus opened his door. Snow blew inside his SUV, sticking to his expensive black coat. He stepped out and walked toward her slowly, like a man who wasn't used to being gentle but was trying anyway. He looked at her children, at their frightened eyes, their blue lips, then he said the unexpected words that made Amelia's heart stop. "Come with me, all of you." Amelia hesitated. She knew who he was. Everyone did. But the storm behind her was merciless. And Marcus Varelli, terrifying as he might be, was offering warmth, safety, life. She ushered the kids into the SUV. Marcus helped her inside, closing the door carefully, as if sealing them off from death itself. As the car warmed up and the snowstorm raged around them, Amelia wondered if she had just saved her children, or stepped into new danger. The SUV drove through the snow with a strength her broken car could never offer. The children thawed slowly, color returning to their cheeks. Marcus kept his eyes on the road, his jaw tense, as though he was battling a storm inside himself, not just outside. Finally, Amelia gathered the courage to speak. Why help us?" Marcus didn't answer immediately. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, the leather groaning under his fingers. "Because once," he said softly, "someone helped me when they shouldn't have." His voice held a depth she didn't expect. Pain. Memory. Regret. 30 minutes later, they arrived at a large stone estate hidden in the woods, a mansion surrounded by tall iron gates and evergreen trees weighed down by snow. Guards stepped forward when the SUV pulled in, but Marcus lifted a hand, and they backed off immediately. The children stared in awe. Amelia clutched her seatbelt. Inside, the warmth was overwhelming. A roaring fireplace burned in the main hall. Thick carpets covered the marble floors. Servants rushed to bring blankets and hot tea, Though they eyed Amelia cautiously, unsure why a mafia boss was sheltering a freezing widow and her kids, Marcus removed his coat and knelt beside the children, checking their hands for frostbite. It was a strange sight, a dangerous man acting with such care. Even Amelia's breath caught in her throat. She had expected threat. Not tenderness. You'll stay here until the storm passes, he said. You're safe. Safe. The word felt foreign in a place like this. That night, Amelia sat by the fire, watching Marcus from across the room. He was speaking quietly with one of his men, his tone serious. She caught bits of their conversation, find out who was following them. No, I don't believe it was an accident. Her heart froze. Someone, following them. Marcus noticed her staring. He walked toward her, hands in his pockets. His eyes were softer now, stripped of their usual steel. There's something you need to know, he said. Your car didn't just break down. Someone tampered with it. Amelia's blood ran cold. What? Why would anyone? I don't know, Marcus said, but it wasn't random. She felt the room tilt. Her hands shook. Marcus stepped closer, lowering his voice. You and your children are under my protection now. Not just from the storm, but from whoever wanted you stranded. Amelia stared at him, her heartbeat loud in her ears. A mafia boss who saved her life. A storm that almost killed her. A danger she never knew existed, and a man she should have feared, but somehow didn't. Why? She whispered. Why protect us? Marcus looked into her eyes, really looked, and something unspoken passed between them. Something warm, something painful, something real. Because no one else will, he said quietly. And because I don't abandon people who need me. Outside, the blizzard screamed against the windows. Inside, a widow and a mafia boss stood on the edge of something neither of them understood yet, but this was only the beginning.